Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be giving you my Taurus July 2019 horoscope forecast part 2 of 2. And yes, this does apply and pertain to the sun, moon, and ascendant. Anyway, people, first thing up is as far as July goes, Venus will be in Leo from the 18th until the 31st. So the fourth house is what will be emphasized and highlighted at this time. Well, this could be about loving Leo qualities at the core, loving perhaps your very inner generous traits, magnanimous ability, flamboyancy, self-confidence, self-assuredness, fortitude, courage, maybe a naturally sunny disposition inwardly. This could also be about spending extravagantly for that end or latter part of life. It could be a time too, if you're unattached at this time, Taurus, you may connect with a Leo sun, moon, or ascendant person, or simply one that embodies Leo characteristics. It could be a time that might be somebody that might be there for your end or latter part of life, and somebody that you might feel very strongly close to home with. It could also manifest in valuing extroversion, fortitude, courage, valor, vibrancy, generosity in your home related matters at this time. And it could be a little bit about spending an exorbitant amount of money getting in touch with your roots and your ancestry. Anyway, next thing up, Mars will be in Leo, so the fourth house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. Now, this may manifest in dramatic battles on the home front. It could be with a lot of Leo-like ferocity. It could be also, too, using a lot of creative energy in the home at this time. It could be on home decorations or just things you might do with your family. It could be something, too, where you might put a lot of energy and vitality into doing Leo things. It might be this inexorable Leo energy you might be expressing. And it could be doing such as like golf or sports in general, entertainment out of the home, doing things that require maybe a little bit more extroversion than usual, creativity. It could be playing some games, or playing like a Guitar Hero, anything that might be enjoyed, that you might do that might be attention seeking, or anything Leo related that has to do with getting attention. It could be something too where you might put a lot of energy into the home in terms and your roots, you're taking in really a lot of energy in home related matters and in your traditions and roots as well in your ancestry at this time, and a lot of that inexorable Leo energy. Again, if you're unattached at this time, Taurus, you may connect with a Leo sun, moon, or ascendant person, or one that embodies Leo traits. It might be a sexual liaison, a sexual relationship you might have, and it could be someone you feel close to home with, or maybe somebody that might be actually there for you for that latter or end part of your life. So anyway, well, the next thing up is Jupiter will be in Sagittarius still. So the 8th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. Now, at this time, as I've talked about previously, that Jupiter, though strongly benign and benevolent, could also be somewhat paradoxical. It could also have a tendency to enlarge and expand. Now, in some cases, this might enlarge and expand over exuberance, over enthusiasm, reckless qualities, foolhardiness, perhaps in matters in trying to deal with a crisis or shared resources situation, or maybe even in loans, such as loaning out maybe more distorted amount than of money in something that you couldn't really spare, but you might do anyway. So just be careful at this time as far as that goes. And also on a positive end, this could be very auspicious for leaving a Sagittarius-like legacy, such as really about being very expansive expansive, being that incorrigible optimist, exuberant, enthusiastic, very positive, optimistic, jocular, and jovial. And it could also be very lucky and fortuitous for perhaps an inheritance at this time. It could be, given Sagittarius and being in its Jupiter and its dignity, it could be a very large one, very prosperous one. And also, too, in some cases, this could enlarge Sagittarius, potential Sagittarius surgery issues, such as something with the liver, the hip, the thigh, or a sciatic nerve. I mean, since we're talking about the 8th house of transformation, in some cases it could be about maybe a hip replacement. Also, too, this could manifest a lot of hope and optimism through benevolence, through shared resources, and perhaps in loans. Anyway, well, and at this time too, it might be some luck in terms of being that incorrigible optimist in a crisis situation, just having a lot of positive energy as far as that goes. So anyway, next thing up, Saturn will be in Capricorn still, so the 9th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. At this time, you might find yourself dealing with certain might be restrictions and limitations in traveling abroad or publishing, maybe matters with in-laws and grandchildren. At this time as well, you might find yourself taking care of a sickly or debilitated in-law or grandchild. It might be something connected with the knees, the bones or the joints might be making you feel somewhat despondent and melancholy as well. But it could also manifest in getting structure and discipline in matters connected with religion or even publishing, such as maybe if you're doing some publishing on a day-to-day basis. And also, too, this might be some kind of fear that you might be experiencing in terms of maybe consistent traveling abroad at this time. And it might be really about being overly, there might be something connected with being overly pessimistic or negative and mean restrictions and expanding horizons. But it might be, since we're talking about Capricorn energy, it might be tied into being overly pessimistic or negatives just in general. So it's something to look at this time, Taurus. Anyway, next thing up, Uranus will be in Taurus still, so the 1st house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. At this time, you might adopt a unique or unorthodox look. This could manifest perhaps in Taurus friendships. They could be Taurus, Sun, Moon, or Ascendant people, or simply one that embody Taurus characteristics that might figure very prominently in new beginnings, your outlook perhaps. These could be people that maybe are from your early childhood perhaps, and they might factor into your appearance a little bit more than usual, maybe giving you some advice perhaps. Now, could also be about dealing with rather unusual, stubborn, and obstinate behavior, perhaps from those you knew in your early childhood, or perhaps even from a grandmother in some cases, or people that played an integral role, perhaps in new beginnings for you. This could also increase a little bit of propensity for an electric shock, and especially if this is actually hitting the ascendant or in the actual 1st house in a natal chart. This could be too, it could be something connected, like maybe like some shock or some nerve type experience or issues, perhaps with the throat or the neck, and also a little greater propensity as far as lightning goes at this time as well. It's really because Uranus can be connected with this. So if you're in an area where you have frequent lightning and it's prevalent, I would take some extra precautions at this time, Taurus. And there might be some new beginnings at this time that are Uranus related, such as something with electronics, computers, aerospace, even rocket science, innovation, astrology, and that you really strongly value at this time. So anyway, it could also be about expressing more outward idiosyncratic or eccentric behavior, which could be very shocking to others, considering Taurus is very conservative. So anyway, next thing up, Neptune will still be in Pisces, so the 11th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. Now, at this time, while Neptune can be about dissipating and dissolving energy, you might be experiencing some dissipation or dissolving of your friends, your acquaintances at this time. I'm having this transit right now in my intercepted 11th house, and people are just dissolving out of my life inexplicably, disappearing mysteriously. This transit can be a doozy for some people. Hold on a moment, people. Sorry about that. Anyway, it could also manifest in some cases about being somewhat confused, or maybe or where your goals and aspirations may be somewhat nebulous and obscure at this time. It could also be about delusion and deception, duplicitous behavior connected with friends, acquaintances, stepchildren at this time, and also to false prophets at this time. Be careful regarding fallacious prophets at this time, or false or astrologers trying to give you the wrong advice in terms of your future, your goals, your aspiration at this time as well. And also it could be about, in some cases, the disappearance of assets from money you may have made if you are in your own business at this time. And also too, when you're talking about, Neptune energy, this could also be manifest in Neptune type goals and aspirations you might find yourself doing, maybe pursuing something as a goal or aspiration. Could be something like poetry, dancing, the metaphysical, which includes astrology, chemistry, photography, working in special effects, perhaps. Anesthesiology, anything with chemicals, pharmaceutical work. You could pursuing maybe a career or wanting to become a pharmacist. And also when you're talking about Neptune energy, it's more lethargic energy, could be very daydreaming and fantasizing energy, and you may feel more like actually relaxing and being more stagnant as opposed to doing 11th house matters, especially if this is making an adverse aspect to your natal sun, your Mars, or your Ascendant. Last but not least, Pluto will still be in Capricorn, so the 9th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. Now at this time, in some isolated cases, if you're with the government, it could manifest in covert government work. It could be maybe where you're keeping your philosophies, religious beliefs very secretive, more so than usual at this time. Now, I know a lot of you don't want me to say the dreaded D word, but you know I'm going to anyway. In some cases, this could be about the actual literal death of an in-law, of a grandchild. It could be a foreigner you know. It could be someone you know at a religious congregation or a college, university. And also might be really about terrorism, might really impact long-distance traveling. They could do that with anybody, regardless of the transit one's experiencing, but there might be a greater propensity with this one. Now, also, too, you might be experiencing some power struggles, perhaps with people in religion. Could be over, it could be with an in-law or a grandchild. It might be somebody, maybe with a foreigner, someone you may know at a college, university. This could be about at this time as well, where you might wind up doing something in terms of higher education. It could be something Pluto related, such as something with insurance, astrology, the occult, supernatural, psychology, psychiatry, doing something maybe connected with the death profession, such as a coroner or a mortician, surgery, forensics, or even nuclear physics. So anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment for my Taurus July 2019 horoscope forecast part 2 of 2. Stay tuned next time, where I'll be giving you my Gemini July 2019 horoscope forecast part 1 of 2. 2 things I want to get with you on before I head out. Firstly, the stars may impel but do not compel. And secondly, never isolate any single astrological element, aspect, planetary placement, position, configuration, influence, or what have you, and make an analysis of a person, astrologically speaking, based on this alone, because astrologically speaking, the person is the sum of all their components in their natal chart and not just one. Until next time, people, stay well.